friends! Thank you so much for being here. I am cybr.grl and this is the second video of the Decora Fashion series that I am doing. If you have no idea what Decora Fashion is, please check out the first video that I did on it. It is the aptly titled video called What is Decora Fashion? So if you need like a refresher or if you have no idea what it is, please check out that video first before I mean, if you want to, you know, it's just totally up to you. But today we're going to be talking about the history of Decora Fashion and trying to find out how exactly it all started, because I've tried looking into it online on the web and I've found many different things on the subject, like many different people saying various things. And so, you know, I want to know the truth, like how exactly did it start? Because some say that it was started by the iconic kawaii brand 6% Doki Doki by Sebastian Masuda, but on the other hand, other people say that it is Fruits magazine. So if you don't know Fruits magazine started in like 1997, yeah, I'm not wrong. So the magazine featured street snaps, so sneak snaps, sneak snaps. Street snaps. So street snaps are pictures that like photographers take of people on the street, because it's a, I don't know why I'm trying to explain, but you know, the name says what it is. On the streets, like if they see somebody who's dressed up pretty cool or whatever, like if they like their outfit, they'll take a picture of them, and then, you know, it's like all compiled in the magazine. And so with Fruits, the photographer Shoichi Aoki, he took pictures of like fashionable people in the Harajuku district of Tokyo. And Fruits was actually how I personally found out about J fashion in the first place. So in elementary school, when I was still in elementary school, after school, I would go to this bookstore at this mall near my house, and then I would like read all the manga that was there and just like sit there and read for hours. And then one day I found Fruits magazine in that like Japanese book section. I was like, whoa, they look so cool! Like, because I mean, I've never seen anybody in person wear J fashion, and so it was like opening my mind to this whole other universe. And like the fact that I dress like this now, I feel like younger me would be like, what? Like my mind would have been blown. But like that's basically how I found out about J fashion, was because of Fruits. So Fruits is like very, very important and dear to my heart. But yeah. So other than those two, there are several other theories on how exactly it started. So today, I really want to find out the truth. I want to wait, what is that thing where the truth is out there. I want to find out the truth of how exactly Decora Fashion started. And I'm the kind of person who doesn't like spreading misinformation, and so I reached out to someone that I knew that I know that they will know. I know that they will know this information. So today I will be talking to my friend, the editor, and wait, hold on, no, I'm making that up. The founder and the editor-in-chief of the Japanese street fashion magazine, the Comm. What was that? Yeah! Hi, Kira! Hello! So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to speak with me. I really appreciate it so much.
No worries.
So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us, like, what are you currently studying in university?
Okay, so hi. Whoop.
Oh.
Thanks, computer. Great timing.
It's all good.
Great timing. Okay, so hi everyone.
Hi.
My name's Choom, and my uni degree, my BA is in Japanese, and my current degree, I'm doing a master's at Bunka Gakuen University. So like you're probably familiar with Bunka Fashion College,
I know,
but I'm at
Bunka.
yeah, I go to Bunka.
Oh.
I go to Bunka. So there's like, you know, Bunka Fashion College, Bunka Fashion Graduate University, a college, and then there's Bunka Gakuen University, which is the one I'm at. And they only have one English language program, which is a master's, and that's the one I'm doing.
Oh.
Yeah, so my master's is called Global Fashion Concentration, which means just like, you know, fashion design, fashion theory kind of thing. And I'm only doing fashion theory, and my master's degree is in street fashion, Japanese street fashion, with a particular concentration on street snaps, using fruits as like the prime example of this. So yeah, that's my specialty.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense for you to study that because you know you founded the Comm, you run it. It's like I feel like you know that's your thing, so
Yeah.
it makes sense to like study that in university. And like, is that do you feel like that's the main reason why you studied that, or like do you have
I mean, yeah, because like I started the Comm, and like during it I was like, how can I be producing articles about fashion, and I don't have any like formal knowledge about it. I mean, like apart from having worked in Harajuku and stuff, I mean that gave me like a practical knowledge, but I felt kind of like, you know, imposter syndrome, like I need to have some more like fashion theory background, so that's why I decided to do a master's in it. Yeah.
Talking about the Comm, and since like for the video we are going to be talking about like the history of Decora, and I feel that like, you know, because you are studying this topic, you know, J fashion in general, I feel like you have like, do you feel like, you know, you have a broad knowledge of the subject, like, you know, that you
I feel like I know a bit more. I don't feel like I know everything because obviously I wasn't there, and I can't, like, I'm not Japanese, so I wasn't there. But I have taken the time to read like the literature and the media, so I feel like I've got a grasp, you know? Like, if anyone out there is like, you know, wants to correct me, like, I'm open to it. Everyone needs to learn, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I just want to, you know, just share this information that you have, and like, you know, so that more people are aware, because I feel like, you know, there's like some misinformation. So before we get into the history, oh wait, hold on. Oh my God. I was reading my notes and then I was like, oh crap, hold on. Oh, this is so, oh my God. Okay, actually, okay, we'll like backtrack a little bit.
Okay, let me just fix my bra.
Okay,
like,
okay,
I was like trying to casually like scratch my shoulder, but it's my bra just like falling off.
It's okay. But before we get into that, let's talk about the history of you and J Fashion. So, you know, how did you discover it and get into J Fashion?
I think the first kind of foray I had into like Japanese pop culture was like through idols. I think, you know, everyone went through like, you know, that dance cover kind of craze on YouTube. Yeah, that was my first kind of thing. And then like, I don't know, I think on just Tumblr maybe I saw like a scan of Hirari Ikeda, and I was like, this is it, man.
Oh
like this is
I
legit.
love
like
so much.
Yeah, so yeah. That was it. It was done. So I think just from that, like, I don't know, something made sense to me. So I kind of like went head first into it. And you know, at school everyone starts calling you like, oh, it's the manga girl or whatever. It's like, okay, you dress like a manga. It's like, well, I'm wearing a pink beanie. Like, it's not very out there. But, but yeah, like I started doing it like really seriously, I think from like I don't know, I was dressing like alternatively from like age 13, which is almost 13 years ago. Holy crap. Holy crap. Yeah, so I've been dressing alternative since like I was 13. And then I think I entered like the community, I suppose, in 2014, because I didn't really know anyone. It was my first time at Hyper Japan. I don't know if you're familiar with the festival, the Japanese culture festival in London. It was the first time I like met anyone. And from then I kind of like met everyone, and then went to university, you know, doing Japanese, and I was still the only one dressed alternatively as well.
No, I feel you. I was that kid too.
Yeah, because people take like academics seriously, and there's me like, you know. So whatever. But yeah, so and then like my third year at university, that's when I went to Tokyo. I studied 1 year at Waseda University, and that's where I like got picked up by, I don't know, they just found me. 6% just kind of found me. And they're
Yes.
like, yeah, and they were like, can you be a model for this show that we're doing? I was like, sure. And then afterwards they asked me to be a shop girl. Yeah, so that's where I kind of was like, this is like what I want to do. This is like serious now. This isn't just like dressing up. I was like, this is it. So
Yeah, no, I
yeah.
think it's awesome when like people, they find something that they really love and they find out that they can actually, you know, make it like a living, you know, like make their whole life and make money from it. Because a lot of people think that, you know, these hobbies are just like, oh, little childish things, but you know, there is like a way for people to do this long term. So I think it's great that, you know, you were able to find your way and that like you now have like a life that you, I guess, you know, you're happy with the stuff that you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm talking about. Just like
No,
kind of inspirational.
I understand completely, because I also felt like for the entirety of like, you know, school and even university, people, like some people, I'm not saying everyone, but people would look at me and say like, oh, it's the unicorn girl, like, you know, and like never see anything beyond the pinks and the pastels or whatever.
Yeah.
And the fact that I've been able to create my own publication, I've been a model for this and that, and you know, like just not, I feel like an entrepreneur in my own right, but like, you know, people don't kind of see that, and like, you know, you're a content creator, it's the same thing. So
Yeah.
there's absolutely a space to be alternative and be a businesswoman and still like look kawaii. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I wish people would take it more seriously, but of course, you know, I understand like where they're coming from, but at the same time, I don't know. Times are changing, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how you got into J fashion. And speaking of 6% Doki Doki, so I've heard some sources say that, you know, Decora started from 6%, but then also some people say it was Fruits magazine, and then other people, they also say that Tomoe Shinohara, Tomoe Shinohara, that she was the one that started Decora. So, like, you know, can you kind of clarify who actually founded Decora?
So I was looking into this a lot because like it's all around the same like time period. So from like 95 to I'd say 97, 98 was like the kind of first like time when you see people take on like, you know, like a lot of bracelets and like, you know, have like a bit of childish nostalgia fantasy kind of in their clothing. I mean, because the thing is 6% was founded in 1995, but at the beginning you don't kind of see what we recognize as today as like this explosion of color and kawaii and kind of thing, because it was initially like more avant-garde, more like, I don't know, Sebastian and the person he founded it with was more into like performance and that kind of thing. So it wasn't necessarily like, okay, this is a space we're going to have shop girls and it's going to be like Decora, because even when I was looking at images from 2008 and like Yuka, it wasn't like an overload of clips and stuff. So I don't know, I think like it had the potential to be, I don't know, it's very influential because you see it in Fruits and like people are wearing 6% and it kind of adds to the Decora flavor. So that's one side. And then you also have Tomoe Shinohara, who's like majorly influential. So I think, I'm not sure if she like started it, but she definitely had her own style that was called like Shinoda. Yes, you in the back. Yes.
So for anybody who doesn't know who
Yes.
Shinohara-san is, you know, like, could you kind of explain about like who she was?
So I mean, like, okay. She was kind of, she's like a TV talent at the time in like the 90s. She was famous for just being like a TV personality and a singer, and she's now become an artist. You know, very far removed from Decora, but she had her own unique look and mannerisms that were very childish and like bubbly, and that's kind of, I think, where you get the Decora like kawaii like thing from, because she was so influential, like, you know, in the late 90s.
Yeah, I've seen like clips of her on like those variety shows, and she has like that energy that it's just like, you know, after you drink some Red Bull and you're just like, yeah, and we're just like, oh my gosh, like, wow.
Happy birthday! Yeah! Give me 5, girl!
Like, I mean, but it's so infectious. Like, I love her positivity, and yeah, you know, like seeing how she dressed back then, you can definitely see like when she had a bunch, like she puts on a bunch of accessories all over herself, you can definitely see Decora.
Yeah.
So, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and so her fans, I think where the confusion kind of starts is her fans were called Shinoras. So like, you know, her name's Shinohara, so they were called Shinoras, and they mimicked the way she dressed, which was like, you know, that childish, I suppose, way of dressing with like a lot of bracelets. And she had her signature like 2 buns with like clips in, and or like wearing a little like, I don't know, bunny kind of hat thing. And actually, so where fruits comes in, because there's a lot of overlapping, like you can't really like pinpoint one exact time, but from what I found is like in one of the earliest issues of Fruits, there's 2 girls that are wearing, I think, what's like the start of what's recognized as Decora, and actually Aoki himself, Shoichi Aoki, the founder of Fruit, said like the first images of Decor were of these 2 girls, but the thing is, he didn't say which picture, so I kind of had to put 2 and 2 together. But I found 2 girls, they're wearing like what do you call it, plaid, not tartan, plaid, like punk kind of like 2-piece, like with shorts, and they're wearing like bunny ears, and they're like posing like this together. And in the text beneath it says like their main point today and like who they like is Shinora. Yeah, so their main inspiration is definitely Shinora, like Shinohara-san. But they come across like very Decor in their like attitude and stuff. So I think that's like kind of the marked beginnings of what it was. Definitely with initial like punk influence, because punk is like massive. Like you can just see the influence like from 97 all the way up to like 2000, I don't know, 2-ish or even beyond, like very much so. But after that you kind of see, you know, what we associated with like, you know, bright colors and a lot of clips, and but that's like more, I'd say, like 2005 kind of territory. But before that it's very like just not even about the accessories, it's more about the clothes and the silhouette being very loose and draped. So that's a lot to take in, but basically the answer to your question is there's a lot of things coming into play.
Yeah.
And Shinohara-san was very influential, but also I think the impact of Fruits is when you see an image, you're like, I want to look like that, I want to replicate it. So that's how it kind of, you know, spirals out of control, basically.
But if you look back at like 90s to 2000 street fashion snaps compared to Instagram pictures of today, how do you feel that Decora Fashion has evolved since then?
I mean, the most recent snaps, I mean, the thing is, like, you don't get to see like a massive representation of Decor in Japan because it's mostly, I think, monopolized by like Tokyo Fashion and like, you know, like occasional, the girls like Kira Nanaku is her username. Yeah, Haruki-san. Yeah. So like they're obviously like the faces of what it is on social media, and it's very much in line with like what you guys are wearing, which is like super bright, super overload, like super OTT and stuff. Whereas like in the 90s where it started is like surprisingly punk, like surprisingly like kind of casual and chill, and like it was really important that it was worn. I don't know, I've got in my notes like one of, okay, to backtrack, basically issue 37, very important, year 2000 of Fruits. Someone made like illustrations of each style, and for Decora they wrote it's very like accessible and cheap accessories from Claire's, even from the 2000s, which I think is really fun. And
Rest in peace, Claire's Japan, though.
Rest in peace, Claire's Japan, RIP. And everything had to be comfortable, and even they described down to the camisole. They said you should wear a camisole over a t-shirt, you should be able to see both, and the camisole should be fitted, and the denim skirt should have a motif, maybe in diamante. Like it was very, like, I don't know, specific.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like you don't see these kind of things now. Like you would never wear like a denim skirt with like diamante hearts, you know, like that's very 2000s.
That is very 2000s, like mini denim skirts.
I think the silhouette has changed with the times, but the overall colors have remained very bright and the same.
Decor definitely is very colorful, but you don't have it. It doesn't mean like, you know, you have colorful clothes that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just means decoration. So just like decorate yourself. That's the foundation of it. Yeah,
and like you were saying, like it's definitely, I feel like even, you know, back then they were saying in that issue 37 that the style is very accessible, and I definitely feel that still to today that it is very like, and it is an accessible style, because you know, you can buy stuff like from the dollar store and create like these. So today I went to Dollar Tree. I don't know if, do they have Dollar Tree in Japan or in, okay, well, so it's a dollar store, and I got this headband from there today.
Yeah, and it works. Like, it's great.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, you don't have to buy like brand or something super expensive to create a look. So, you know, that's why I really like it a lot. But yeah, Decora.
No, I absolutely agree. Like, I think that people often make the mistake of being like, okay, 6% Doki Doki as a staple Decora brand. Like, sure, but no. Like, you know, you'd be surprised at how many like of these snaps are just people wearing Adidas and like something they just thrifted. Like I've never, like when I was reading, I was like, why are there so many sports jackets? Like for real, like even with like cyber fashion, I was like, this is all just Adidas. It's crazy.
They're rocking that like Russian Slav look.
Yeah.
With the
fashion.
But before we say goodbye, I would love to know more information about your magazine, the Comm. So would you please kindly let me know? Yeah, tell me all about you and your that fabulous magazine.
Fabulous magazine. So yeah, the Comm, it was created 2 years ago. It's basically like, when I was thinking of the name, I was thinking of like, what could be, and I was like, oh, the Comm, it's literally like the community, like, wow, we already use this word, let me just steal it. So, yeah.
I mean, and it sounds like your name too, but without the H. That's
I know.
Like, Choom.
Like, everyone, like, when I first started, they were like, oh, is your magazine the Choom? And I was like, no, it's so embarrassing, I did not, this is highly, like, I'm setting the record straight. It is not named after me. I'm not that narcissistic, okay? Like, So the aim of the magazine is to like bring, you know, the global fashion community together, like everyone that loves Japanese street fashion. I want everyone to be able to learn and appreciate and like understand everything, because I feel like, you know, there's a lot of articles written in Japanese or articles written in English, and there's no like crossover, and you know, everyone wants to know stuff, everyone wants to like appreciate stuff and see themselves being seen and stuff. So, you know, that's why it's in 6 languages, because it's a question I always get. It's like, why is it in 6 languages? Like, you're doing the most. I'm like, yes, but
I'm glad that you're doing the most, because it makes it so much more accessible to so many people. And
Yeah.
people forget that, you know, when you're trying to like grow something, you want to make it as accessible as possible so that everybody has a shot and a chance to
Absolutely,
learn.
yeah.
And yeah.
That way, like, we've been able to feature people like from all over the world just because we have translators that can speak their native language, so we can reach out in their native language and make them feel as comfortable as possible. Because, you know, I don't want it to be very like English speaker, like Western centric versus Japan. Like, that's not what it was. It's like what it is, especially since Japan is like, we want more people to be included. Like, that's the whole vibe of it.
Oh, for sure. Because lately I've been getting like people asking, you know, is wearing J fashion, is it cultural appropriation? But then I tell them, you know, no, like these Japanese people, they want people from
Yeah.
overseas to wear these styles too, you know, like it is a global fashion. Even though it did start in Japan, but over the years, people from all over have adopted the style and worn it. And I think it's great that, you know, it's being shared to so many people all around. So
Yeah. I'm not, like, seriously, I agree. Like, and I just think it's just so just funny and ironic because most of the stuff that they wear is imported from the US. So I don't see how it's appropriation when most of the stuff is like, oh, I got this in Los Angeles, but just because it's on the body of like a Japanese person, like suddenly it's their property, I suppose. I don't understand the correlation. So where were you on? We're all having fun around here.
yeah,
Basically.
and there are some Japanese styles, J fashion styles, like Lolita, for example, that are actually like, influenced by Western fashion. You know, like from like the European Rococo era.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, it's just all like a mash of different things. So it's not like traditional garb. You know, like
Yeah.
religious or kind of. You know, so you're not touching any kind of that kind of territory.
We actually featured like super on topic. We did a shoot with Kure-chan, where she wore specifically like Heisei, kana? Heisei? Yeah, like 90s Decora fashion. So if you want to see kind of like, you know, like not even her interpretation, because I think she got it on point, like, you know, the kind of silhouette and the kind of look of what Decora should be, like, have a look at that on the Comm. But also just in general, like, check us out. We try and cover absolutely everything and everyone. So, you know, if you want to join us, if you want to be featured, like, you know, definitely link in the description or whatever these YouTubers say. Like,
Well, are y'all are looking for people to was it write or translate? I can't remember which.
Yeah, so we're always looking for writers, and we're looking for translators for German, French, and Japanese. So preferably you'd be a native speaker of one of these languages with fluency in English, because we primarily communicate in English. But obviously if you're translating into a language, like, you need to be like native in it, you know. So if you're interested in that, and also social media manager would be
Oh yeah,
great.
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, the social media manager. Like, you don't necessarily have to have experience, just if you can make a cool story, make a cool feed. I don't know, it's just like follow the Comm and follow your dreams, man.
Yes! I agree. Follow the comments, follow your dreams. That's a good slogan right there. All right. Well, thank you again so much for your time, for your information, for your good vibes. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you.
No worries, let's do this again.
Thank you, and yeah, Subi. Bye. I'm back. I hope that y'all enjoyed that little conversing. I don't know, like the little chat that we had. I had a really fun time talking to Choom. We haven't spoken to each other in I mean, I haven't seen her in person since I visited Japan in 2018, so it's been a while since we like really sat down and spoke to each other. So it was really nice catching up with Choom. But yeah, like what she said, please check out the Comm. I will definitely link them down below, and also please follow your dreams. TLDR, Decora came from many different sources. So it wasn't just one thing, one person. It was just all these things that combined during that time that created this amazing style that we all know and love. And yeah, I feel like I've definitely learned a lot of knowledge today. Yeah, learning is fun. I like learning. So yeah, I hope that y'all were able to learn something new today as well, because I definitely have. You know, learning about the history of Decora, I think going forward into the future, it'd be really awesome to see more people try out the style. And you know, exactly why I am doing this whole Decor series is that I think it'd be nice for more people to wear Decor as well. Don't forget that I will be doing more videos on Decor Fashion stuff. So the next video after this one, Decora Fashion series video number 3, I'm going to be letting y'all know where exactly to buy Decora Fashion clothing. So yeah, that's like a question that I get a lot. So I will have all my informations and I will blat it out, blat it out to all of you. Ooh, also, I just wanna say before I go one thing. So I was inspired by the Gyaru check TikTok that Lizzie made. So Lizzie, she is also a J fashion YouTuber. So she specifically focuses on Gyaru fashion. So if anybody likes Gyaru fashion, please check out Lizzie's YouTube channel. I was inspired by the Gyaru check TikTok, and so I made a Decora check. So if anybody wants to like try the sound, you know, not anything like serious or anything, but you know, I'd love to see more people try that too. Yeah, let's like have a whole community of Decora fashion lovers and like show the world who we are. So thank you so much for watching this video and for listening to me talk about stuff and nerding out on Decora. I really hope that y'all enjoyed this and that it was informative, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, bye! 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 Peace.